of you.
Yeah. Hi there, Cindy Dole. Welcome to Hour 2 of Home Wizards, your radio home for all things home, garden, and life improvement. This is the place where I hope that you will come and turn to for your ideas, your inspiration, the techniques and the trends to really change and improve and gussy up the spaces that you call home. Whether it's tackling a new project, painting something, maybe you want to hire someone to change out your kitchen, whatever it is. We have some laughs and we have some fun in the process. So coming up, more on how to improve the relationship with that dog of yours or multiple dogs at home. Is he or she acting up? Are your dogs like mine and kind of overly enthusiastic and jumping on the people who come into the house? Not a good thing, including the in-laws. That was not a good impression. They were here visiting about a week or so ago, and they kept jumping up on the in-laws. Barking and just making noises and irritating the neighbors. Maybe you're eating what they shouldn't, going through the trash. Well, your chance to get some help. We're talking with the resident animal behavior consultant for Best Frends Animal Society. And part of this great new book, that's the National Geographic Dog Tips from Dogtown. So you want to keep the number handy, 888-539-2980, 888-539-2980 to call in maybe with your dog question. Then a bit later, we're going to give you some help, some design help online. It's a really cool website, and it promises to save you time and money. If you've been thinking about that one room or maybe multiple rooms that just are not quite coming together right, and you don't think you can afford a designer right now, what's the next best thing? Well, this website might be it. They help you walk through what kind of style you are that speaks to you, and then you go online to this site, and there's someone to kind of guide you through the process to kind of change over room by room. So it's kind of cool. And before we get to back to my dog expert guest, I got to tell you, speaking of websites, I love Craigslist. It's a really great resource. I've used it for multiple reasons, to buy things, sell things, hire people and services, and I think it's very cool also for getting things for your home, by the way. But just a little heads up. I posted a few ads this past week tied to this new website that I'm creating, and I needed some different folks for different things. And I discovered that there are these robots that will scour your Craigslist ad if you aren't careful, and all these people will respond who really aren't either qualified or don't really care about you. They may be a scam, and they're just scouring for a bite. So sometimes they're from different parts of the world. Maybe they're legit, maybe they're not. But I didn't want to be wasted with all these extra emails that really weren't people that I wanted someone local to help me. I wanted to be able to interview them face to face. I had very specific qualifications, and I want to make sure they've read my whole thing, right? So what I did was I buried at the very bottom of my ad this little keyword. I said, okay, now, to save us all time, to really know that you're sincere, use the word unicorn in the subject email back to me, okay? Are you ready for this? I've only gotten 3 back that said unicorn.
How much is that?
Everybody else is just using generic stuff. All right, that's our cue to get back to the dogs, from unicorns to dogs, because I love them both. Let's talk about your dog and what might be, problematic at home, because, maybe your dog is a bully. I don't know. Maybe it's shy and sad. With me is Sherry Woodard, who knows it all. She's the resident animal behavior consultant for Best Frends Animal Society. So, Sherry, what does it mean if your dog is a bully, especially to the other pets in your household?
Well, it could mean a lot of things. Again, every dog is an individual, and their behavior can come from past experiences. Often a bully has been bullied, so their role model wasn't a good one. But sometimes they tend to enjoy it. So we need to help them. We need to give them guidance and leadership and redirect their behavior so that instead of being a bully, they're focusing on us and they're looking to us for direction. And what I recommend is building a stronger relationship between the people in the house and that dog, so that if they see so much as a look that might lead to bullying, they could distract the dog and have the dog interact in a fun way, doing something else. Even practicing manners is fun to the dog. Dogs love to learn, and they love to practice what they know.
Isn't that something? But you're saying something as simple as a look could get to them.
Absolutely. You once you do learn how to read your dogs, people say, "Oh, there was no warning," and then a month later, after we've spent some time learning how to read the dog, then they start to go, "Oh yeah, I saw the ears went like this, and the eyes went over here, and one was glaring at the other." They actually say a lot of things without making any noise.
Yeah. And I guess, so, well, speaking of the eyes, I mean, the eyes have it. Dogs instinctively are, I guess, from birth afraid to look you right in the eye until they know that, you're not trying to intimidate each other, right? That it's a welcoming stare.
Yes, because to each other, it is actually not a normal behavior. We teach them to look into our eyes, but they don't tend to look into each other's eyes lovingly like humans do.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's another question for you, because this one dog of mine, Abby, she's really something else. She will literally go, I mean, it's almost like, I'll say, come on, get over yourself, Abby. Like she's just almost like a 13-year-old girl, like just has to get attention. What's up with that?
Well, she could actually be just like a 13-year-old girl. She could be thinking all kinds of things.
She's thinking of her boyfriends.
For thinking all kinds of things. She could be like, oh, will you stop working? I want some interaction. I'd like to go for a walk.
Come on.
Yes.
It's all about me.
Let's do something fun. I haven't eaten and it's been 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, what about yawning? I've always wondered if you can, how when people yawn, you yawn and then sometimes another person might want to yawn. Sometimes I'll notice that when my dog yawns, I feel like yawning. Is that kind of bizarre?
Not really. I think that there is something there. People have actually studied our yawns and our blinking eyes, and in the dogs, some people will say that a yawn is a displacement behavior. They aren't necessarily tired when they yawn. They might be slightly stressed, might be a little uncomfortable, but certainly they can do it when they're tired as well. And I think us being so closely connected to them, it wouldn't be a surprise that if we stretch, they stretch, or likewise, and the same with a yawn.
How about when my dog's is a mother and a daughter situation, and the daughter seems to take the submissive role and wants to clean the mother's ears and her gums. It's almost like birds that you see in the wild on National Geographic, in fact, cleaning the hippo's teeth. It's like, what's up with that?
Social grooming.
Yes.
And it is actually, it's very normal, very natural. With a mother and daughter, even more so, because puppies will go up and they will be very submissive and lick around the adult's face. If it's the mother, they might actually keep it from being a young puppy and asking the mother to regurgitate.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. La, la, la. I mean, I know that that's all good stuff, but sometimes, less is more for me. All right, let's talk about barking, because barking can be good. I mean, hey, a lot of us have a dog for home security. It can keep away the bad guys. But then there's always that line where maybe they're barking and it becomes an irritant to us and to neighbors. So how do we kind of control that and balance it?
I think it's great to teach dogs to speak and to teach them to be quiet. And by doing that, we can reward just a couple of barks and then ask them to be quiet and reward quiet. And actually, we just put something out in our magazine recently about this because it comes in so handy. A lot of people do want their dogs to speak, but they don't want them to talk too much. So in teaching quiet, we catch the dog as soon as it stops barking and say quiet and give a treat. And then you could actually, throughout the day, when the dog isn't making a noise, say quiet and give a treat. And then remember, when the dog barks, let it bark once or twice, whatever you decide, and say quiet, and the dog turns around, instantly quiet, and goes, where's the treat?
Uh-huh.
So it's pretty easy to teach it that way when we have dogs that are almost always treat motivated if we find the right treat.
Well, when we come back, I want to hear about what the right treat is, how we find out the what's going to really sync with our dog. And those of you who have a question, you can call on in at 888-539-2980, 888-KFWB-980. We're talking about making sure that dog of yours at home is minding his or her manners and making your life beautiful, because that's how it could be and should be, because after all, they are incredible creatures, aren't they? We're going to talk more with Sherry Woodard about it, because she speaks dog, and I do too, kind of. I'm trying to. Cindy Dole, Home Wizards, don't you go away. We're having more fun right after this.
I'm gonna buy me a dog.
Welcome back, Cindy Dole here. Hopefully you're letting your hair down, because heck, it's Saturday. Home Wizards helping you kind of find your way to make the spaces you call home better, more interesting, more you, and just, more And we're talking about ways to enjoy your home with your dog. Sherry Woodard, who knows all about it. She's the resident animal behavior consultant for Best Frends Animal Society. And this book that's out, it's what's version 2, is that right? Sherry, Dog Tips from Dogtown. This is the second one?
This is the second book with National Geographic, and it is still brand new. We have a 5-star rating, and we're already in our second printing, so
Awesome.
It's going well.
It's very, very cool. And you're quoted in there many times. So that's neat to see you there. And I'm like, I know her. So in terms of the treats, because you were saying that there's some tricks that we can do. I mean, not to get them to do a trick necessarily, but just to get them to be disciplined. And it's about finding the right kind of treat that really will resonate with them.
Absolutely. You were saying your dogs are really excitable.
Yeah.
Sometimes people use treats that are too exciting, and then it's really difficult for the dogs to focus. So we need to kind of wage the value of our treats depending on what our dogs like. Sometimes people tell me, oh, my dog's not treat motivated, and I ask them what they're using, and they say, oh, well, I got some dry biscuits. I'm thinking, well, most of us wouldn't work for a dry biscuit.
Yeah, it sounds kind of boring.
So it really is finding what works for each dog. And if it seems like the dog gets too excited, then try something that's less exciting. But if you think you have a dog that doesn't like anything, try some boiled chicken or a couple chunks of steak and see if maybe your dog is willing to work for something better.
Or peanut butter.
Peanut butter's a good one.
And I always let them... Watching them eat it, that to me is heaven.
Yes.
It's the best. All right, so let's talk about some of the other things that we can learn in terms of, making sure that we're living a good life with our dogs. I mean, we might be at work all day, and we come home, and we see that there are either accidents, maybe the furniture has been chewed, shoes, things like that, even though they're not a puppy anymore. I mean, maybe they've gone through years, and they've been great, and then out of the blue, poof. Why did they do that?
Well, I think some of these are that we live really busy lives, and they get desperate sometimes for interaction. And sometimes we even forget to get them new toys. It isn't their birthday. It isn't Christmas. Why do they need something to chew? Well, they actually enjoy chewing. So we need to remember to get them appropriate things to chew and do. If we're leaving them home, there are all kinds of things that are appropriate to leave with them that they could chew on their own, or treat dispensing toys that could actually hold their food. And in order to get their food, they have to roll something around the house.
Like those Kongs? Those Kongs?
Instead of just eating quickly out of a bowl.
Yeah. I mean, you have to literally, it's like a puzzle that they have to solve to get to the, mental stimulation.
Great. And it also keeps them thinking. Now, the other thing is that they would love to have our attention. Sometimes when we get home, we're tired and we don't feel like going for a walk, but we almost always feel better when we go for a walk and come back. We're more relaxed, the dog's more relaxed. It could be a time that is really enjoyable to be out as a team. I recommend people don't take their cell phones, because I see far too many people that have the dog, but they're not at all with the dog because they're still texting and talking on the phone.
Oh, really? And so the dog is aware of that and not getting the benefit.
Oh, the dog looks like, well, hey, whose walk is this?
Really? Oh, my gosh. Isn't that something?
You probably have dogs just like that. It sounds like yours would be bright enough. They'd be like, excuse me, you're not present?
Or they'd say, where's my cell phone? I've got some friends to text. And then, of course, there's the garbage can out of the blue. I mean, and I hate it. It always happens with the coffee grind in there. You know what I mean? And you got little pieces of coffee grinds all over the kitchen floor. And they'll be, complete saints for years. And then out of the blue, something happened in the garbage can.
Yes. That's actually a really common one. And we can't really blame them, because if we ask them what they love, it's disgusting things. They love things that smell bad. They would roll in it and wear it as perfume. So it's up to us to manage the trash. And I tell everybody, if you can, buy one that they simply can't get into, or put it inside one of the cabinets.
Yeah. And in terms of adopting a breed, we need to find out, of course, the lifestyle that we have, and if we can handle the size and the personality and all that. And what would you recommend in terms of just finding the ideal dog for adoption?
My advice is go and spend time with dogs. And it might not be a breed, it might be a mixed breed. There are purebreds in almost every shelter. So if people are wanting a specific breed and a look, they can find it, or they could find breed rescues on websites. But you could go and spend time with dogs and absolutely find someone who who is your match. Most places will let you take the dogs and walk them, let you spend time so that you can see if it is going to be a fit. And just the little bit of time that you take to go out on a walk and spend some time alone, or even go into a meet and greet room,
Sherry,
that could be very helpful for the long-term success.
And like the song says, we got to find the true color in our true dog. Sherry Woodard, thanks so much, and check out the book by National Geographic, Dog Tips from Dogtown. Love you, Sherry. We'll have you back again. Good advice, and don't you go away, because we have more to talk about. We're going to segue into design online. Cindy Dole, and this is Home Wizards.